It's a relationship among the legs of the sides of a triangle. What are the legs of the sides of what kind of triangle?
Right triangle.
It has to be a right triangle, which means it has to have a right angle. Theorem. Okay, the first step is to be able to label the triangle. We have legs of a triangle and we have a hypotenuse. It's really important that you always label the hypotenuse in the correct spot. Always label the hypotenuse first. How do you know where the hypotenuse is? What is the hypotenuse? It is the longest side of a right triangle. Now, one way that you can also remember, because if you don't have the dimensions and you just want to know where it is, it's always located across from the right angle. Across from 90-degree angle. Okay? So here's my 90-degree angle. Look here for a second. This is the only side that's located directly opposite that. So that is the hypotenuse. Okay, once you know the hypotenuse, the other two sides are the legs. This is a leg, and this is a leg. So it's very important that you label the hypotenuse correctly. I'm going to draw a bunch of triangles, and you're going to label the hypotenuse, okay? Okay. So it's across from the right angle. The hypotenuse is here. What about B? Where's the hypotenuse?
The big one.
This is the hypotenuse. Everyone get that one right?
Yes.
C. And D. All right. Okay, remember, it's across from the right angle. It's the side that doesn't touch the right angle.
Yes, please.
Now, there's a reason why I asked you to do this, because when we're using the formula for Pythagorean theorem, what is the formula? You need to memorize this. A squared plus, plus
B squared
equals
C squared.
Okay, this is one way to write it. When you write it like this, which letter represents the hypotenuse? Good. C is the hypotenuse. So now I'm gonna label my triangle C, 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 C. That way when I'm using the formula, I know which number is C. Doesn't matter where I write A and B. The legs of the triangle. Does it matter if I put A, look here? Does it matter if I put A, B? Or do I need to put A, B? Does it matter? Who thinks it matters? As long as the hypotenuse is right, it doesn't matter where you write A and B. So the hypotenuse is the hardest thing to label. Then we could just A, B, A, B, A, B. Okay, any order. So the first example is, it says that a right triangle has lengths 9 meters on one side and 19 meters on the other side. They want you to find the missing side. What is the first thing we should do with our triangle? It's a right triangle, so we know that we have to use Pythagorean theorem to solve this. Pythagorean theorem will tell you how to solve a right angle triangle. Well, what's the first thing I should do? Label A, B, C. Where is C?
The big one.
Do I know C?
Yes, because the A and B are already.
Do I know the measurement for C? No. Okay, so automatically we know we're trying to find C. This is the easy way. This is the easy question because we're trying to find C. You tell me, so we all do it the same. Which one do you want to be A and which one do you want to be B?
Anything.
Okay, let's label it the same though, so we're doing this together. A, B. So we've labeled the legs A and B. So I know that A is 9 meters. So where we have the letter A in our formula, I'm going to replace it with the number 9. So instead of writing A squared, I'm writing 9 squared plus, what's B?
19.
So 9 squared plus 19 squared, right?
Yeah.
Equals
C squared.
C squared. I'm putting it in pink because that's what I don't know. I don't know C. Now we have to use a calculator. 9 squared means 9 times 2 or 9 times 9?
9 times 9.
Good. What's 9 times 9?
81.
81.
Plus 19 times 19. What's 19 squared?
442.
361.
442.
That equals
442.
C squared.
442.
Just simplify it. Add them together. We can simplify this. 81 plus 361 equals.
442.
442.
Okay, equals c squared. But I want to know what c equals. What's the opposite of squaring a number? What's the opposite of square? Square root. So if I find the square root of this,
21.
I get c. The square root of c squared is c. C times c is c squared, right? Square root. So if I do square root on one side, what do I have to do on the other side? Square root. So the square root of 442 equals 21, which means that c equals 21. What was the unit? What's the unit? Now, remember we said the hypotenuse is the longest side of a triangle. Is 21 the longest side? Now that you found the dimensions? Yeah. So that's it. They've already given us B. B we don't know. We have to figure out B in this question. Do we know A?
Yeah.
What is A?
8 meters.
Good. And what's 17?
C.
Good. C is the hypotenuse. Remember, I can't stress this enough. C is your hypotenuse. It's across from the right angle. So let's label the triangle first, then let's write the formula. Memorize this formula. A squared plus B squared equals... Okay, now plug in. What's A, Ricky? So 8 squared plus, what's B? No. Unknown. We don't know B, we leave it as B. I'm trying to find B. Equals, what's C?
17.
So we have 8 replaced A. B we don't know, and C, 17 replaced C. You have to keep it as 8 squared plus B squared equals 17 squared. Okay, now what? This is a little different from the last question. Can you simplify 8 squared? Can you figure out what 8 squared is? What's 8 times 8? So let's simplify that. 64 plus B squared equals, can you simplify this? What's 17 squared? 17 times 17 is 289. Finished? Now what do? We're trying to get B by itself. I want to know, my goal is to figure out what does B equal?
225.
Yes, good. Why are we subtracting 64? Shh. Okay, if I take away 64, I've gotten rid of it, right? 64, take away 64 is 0. But when we have equations, you can't just take something away from one side of the equation and not do it to the other side. So if I took 64 away from the left side of the equal sign, what do I have to do on the right side? Do the same thing, take away 64. So this is gone, I'm left with B squared, right? Equals 289, take away 64.
It's 225.
225? So B squared equals 225. Am I done? I don't want to know what B squared equals. That's great, but I want to know what B equals, so I got to do the square root. Square root of B squared is B. Square root of 225 is B equals 15 unit.
Meter. Oh,
Centimeters, meters?
meter.
Good. If this is in meters, not squared. It's a side length. The distance from here to here is 15 meters. The distance from here to here is 8 meters. And then the hypotenuse is 17 meters, which makes sense. The hypotenuse is the longest side. Is 17 the largest number in this triangle?
Yes.
So we solved the triangle.
Nice.
B equals 15. As Nikki needs to repair the eavesdrop of her house. She owns a ladder that's 4.6 meters. So here's the ladder. The ladder is 4.6 meters. She places the base, so the bottom of the ladder, 1.2 meters away from her house. Here's her house. Approximately how high up will the ladder reach? So I'm trying to find the distance from the bottom of the house all the way to where the ladder reaches at the top of the house. So, first step, A, B, C, label it now. What's C? What's the hypotenuse?
1.6.
Pardon? Good. What's A?
The A is the
Okay, we'll make A the house and B
The
the distance from the base of the ladder to the house. A, B, C. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. You guys are doing this one on your own. Plug in.
Got the answer, miss.
Do you know A?
Yes.
You do. From the question.
Yes.
No. We don't know A. What's B, Ricky?
Oh, we're looking for A?
1.2.
And what's C? 4.6. Shh. A squared plus, what's 1.2 times 1.2?
144.
1.44 equals, what's 4.6 times 4.6?
116.
26.16?
1.
21.16. This is similar to the last example we just did. I want to get rid of this plus 1.44. What's the opposite?
Subtract.
If I have 1.44 and I take away 1.44, that's gone. If you do it on one side, you have to do it on the other side. Subtract 1.44, so we're left with
1972.
A squared equals, let me just write out the steps, 21.16, take away 1.44. That's what we're doing. Everyone understand that, right? What is 21.16, take away 1.44?
19.7.
19 point,
72.
is that the answer? Is that what A, now what?
Square.
A equals?
4.44.
Okay, so they want us to round it to the nearest tenth, which is one decimal place. 4.4.
4. Yeah.
So, how high up the side of her house will her ladder reach? 4.4 meters high. So from here to here, the bottom of the house to the top of the ladder is 4.4 meters.
Okay.